Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel, this beautiful day. How you guys and girls are doing? Hope you're doing great as always. Please check out the description box for all the nice stuff, all the nice links, Discord, Twitter, support page. Also drop a like, subscribe as it's called. That would be really nice. Really appreciate the support. But let's just get going. So what I want to do, I want to keep working on the game. I got game.cpp up and everything. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna create a new filter here, new filter, and I'm gonna call it entities. Okay, so anything that has to do with entities is gonna be here. Now we do have states. Well, we'll just keep it here, and then I'm gonna add a little class in here and call it entity.h, entity.cpp, no base class. And we're just going to create this, okay? And then we're going to have private as usual and all that. Functions. So the entity is going to basically be our base for just about any type of character we're going to have, anything. And we'll probably work on this. It's going to be, it won't be set from start, set in stone. So I'm going to probably move things around, things that I use in both enemy and player, for example, and all that stuff. So that's gonna be cool. Yeah, I don't know if item and things are gonna what do you call it, be have this as a parent class. I think it's just about anything, any type of character, any type of thing like that. So we're gonna have a few functions here. Void update, okay, const float dt as usual, and then we're gonna have our void render const, not const, sf render target reference target. So we'll probably render that on some type of target like that, and these are gonna be equal to 0 as well. Now I can't find render target obviously because I haven't included what I should have included here. Now I'm also going to use the if and def entity.h, define entity.h, and then endif for all my Linux and CodeBlocks users, pretty much. Also, I just want to say that if you get an error from the last video, if we just go into gamestate.cpp, I think it was, or just state.cpp probably, state.h. Yeah, here, if you get an error here, target null pointer is not defined, just use null instead, okay? Just use null instead. Now I can change that for you guys here, so let me just do that. Let me just use null instead of null pointer. Because that should work. Even if that complains, just use 0. But null should be fine. Let me see if I did that anywhere else. I don't think so. So that should be okay for you. Now I'm gonna close everything I'm not using right now. Just quickly open state.h. So I gotta see what we're working with here. We are working with graphics and all these SFML things. Pretty much I'm gonna need SFML system graphics and window, probably audio and everything in entity. So let me see how I'm gonna include this. I'm gonna remove everything here. Okay, I'm going to entity.h and just put everything in entity. Alright. And then I'm going to include entity in the state. Entity. And we're going to have a lot of classes later, so it's pretty much going to be crazy with includes. But I don't want to have a lot of double includes, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to have to double include if I want these things in every what do you call it? Every class. So we'll have to look at that later. But right now, entity is going into state. Let me think. Entity is going into state. State's going into game state. Game state into game. game into main. Okay, so it's kind of chained still, which is okay, which is fine. That is fine. That is pretty good. That's pretty okay. Okay, so we have our entity, and we need to set these to virtual as well. Virtual. All right. Am I even recording as always? Yep. Very good. Let me just go ahead and do this. Okay. Once that's done, I'm just going to define these. If it lets me. Maybe I already did. No. Please. I don't have to define them. Actually, no, I don't have to define those. Why would I do that? Let's do this. Let's, instead of private, I'm going to use protected. Okay. Now, in school, usually they tell you not to use protected. But protected is basically a step between private and public. Okay. Now, anything under protected, you can access in the child class. So if I have any variables under protected, I can directly access it. I don't need any getters and setters, and it's gonna help us out a lot because basically a player is going to be an entity. It's just gonna grab everything from entity and then add stuff upon it. So why use it under private? I don't understand why my school taught me that. I really don't. Maybe it's a little more secure in that sense, but I'm gonna use protected here. So you can choose however you want to do it. If you use private, you're gonna have to create your own getters and setters and stuff here, accessors and modifiers. But anyway, let's go ahead in here and let's do a SF rectangle shape. This is just placeholder. Okay, it's totally placeholder. This is just so we can kind of get going. Okay, so we create our entity here, and this entity, just like I said, placeholder, this shape dot set size. Okay, vector to f. Later we're gonna do this using textures and stuff with sprites, not rectangle shapes. Rectangle shape is gonna be for our hitbox. Anyway, I'm just gonna say 50.f, 50.f. Okay, just give it some kind of size here. And it's probably going to be white by default and at position 0, 0. So it doesn't matter. This is cool. Okay, I just want something to move around. Virtual void move. Okay, so I'm going to have a move const float x const float y. Okay, it's a move function for the entity. Now every entity doesn't have to move. So later on, I will kind of, or maybe, yeah, it should be able to move. This type of entity, I think every entity should be able to move. So in what direction? So this rectangle shape, no, this shape dot move x, y. Okay, and I'm gonna do const float dt here as well. Okay, and I'm gonna do that so that when we call it, it's gonna require the delta time. Obviously it needs to do that, and we already sent it into update, so that's perfect. Virtual void move. Okay, and also we're gonna have a shape, and then we're gonna have a float movement speed. Okay, and in entity itself, I'm just gonna set this movement speed to maybe 100.f. Okay, that's pretty okay for as a speed. Multiply by this movement speed, multiply by dt, and the same thing for y. Okay, so y is basically just the direction. I guess one could do that. Yeah, I guess we could use that as a direction. So there y, there x. Okay, so we're just gonna use that. Okay, it makes it a little easier for us, basically, because we're gonna use directions later, not what do you call it? Sizes here. Okay, so we're not gonna say 100 here. We're gonna either say -1 up to 1 or -1 up to 1 here. Okay, so it will be a direction. Then we'll probably do a little check here to see if it's below -1 and all that. Whatever, it doesn't really matter right now. So there we go. Now if I just quickly just remove the thingies here, just so we can try this out, just to get something moving on the screen, just see if it works. So it's not pure virtual right now. It will be eventually once we create the player class. So this, okay, here we're gonna update. So if SF keyboard is key pressed, SF keyboard SF keyboard A. Okay, this move. So what direction is A? A is to the left. So -1.f, 0.f. Okay, so that's the direction. -1 is to the left. So, and we're gonna send in DT as well, and just copy paste this 4 times. All right. So 4. I don't know what the hell just happened there. Like this. Okay, so A, D, W, S. D is a positive, so 1 multiplied by. W is, and this is all the Y coordinates, so just gonna remove that. And then we're gonna say W is -1F, and S is 1F. Downwards is positive. So there you go. So we can update it, and then we're gonna say target.draw this shape. Okay, very simple. Very simple. Easy peasy. So there we go. Now we got something at least that we can move and something we can use and create. So it's not pure virtual yet, but yeah, that's pretty good. So if we go into GameState.h, let's close out everything else. GameState.h. I'm gonna create, not in public, in the private. I'm gonna create an entity. Entity player, just for now, just whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then in GameState.cpp, when we update, I'm gonna remove this as well. So we're gonna update keybinds, and then this player dot update dt. Okay, and then this player dot render target, and then we have to send it in the reference because that's a pointer. Now most probably what we want to do is keep it as a pointer, let it be error right there, close everything down, go into entity.h, change this from a reference to a pointer, and here as well in the CPP file, from a reference to a pointer, and then we'll just use the pointer symbol right there to draw. Okay, and then we're gonna run this game. So what's gonna happen, game state's gonna be pushed. Okay, so we're gonna have game state, and game state contains an entity called player, and in game state update we should be able to let's see, access, okay, this shape. All right, let's see. So we did create the shape entity. This shape dot set fill color, SF color white. So let's just set the color to it. It shouldn't be the problem. I'm not really sure what's going on. If it doesn't work now, I'll probably check it out, because this target is something I'm sending in GameState.cpp. Okay, this player.render. And or I'll just say this window. Yeah, because that is null pointer. Oh yeah. Okay. I get it. So we'll just set this. Pretty sure it had a window pointer. Okay, GameState.cpp state window. So what about state.cpp? This window. So let's go into state. Okay, it has it under window. All right, so just set protected here as well. Don't use private, use protected. Protect private here. Okay, we'll have a private section, but we'll keep these under protected. Just because our child classes should be able to access them. So then instead of the render here, okay, so we'll render it to this window. Okay, so if I run this now, it shouldn't crash. I understand, because target is null pointer. So yeah, there we go. All right, and now we can move our character around with the WASD keys. All right, so there you go, guys and girls. I know it's a longer video. Just make sure to have this window here, and this target is basically null pointer because we're not sending it in. So that's cool. We're gonna have to do a little check for that. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little check for that. If this target, if target, if it's not a null, else we'll do this. So we'll render to the target, otherwise we'll render to this. This is not the best solution. All right, I'll think about it till the next video. All right, we'll fix that. We'll fix it. It shouldn't be any problems. But thank you so much for watching. Take care. Hope everything works for you guys. If you got any questions, any problems, ask me in Discord or right here on YouTube. And just keep learning, keep working hard. All right, and take care. I'll see you guys and girls in the next one. All right, bye bye.